welcome to part 2 of making rocks. So what I wanted to show you right now is this rock that we made for our original escape room in Hawaii. We're actually back in Hawaii. We kept this in the garage just in case we reopened, but we didn't. So this is a rock that I used monster mud. So basically it's acrylic paint and spackle medium all mixed together, drywall compound medium all mixed together. And then you put it over your styrofoam, like the last tutorial I showed you was putting on styrofoam. So you can definitely use monster mud to finish it. I'm not going to show the process because we actually upgraded to using concrete. And the reason we did that is while monster mud looks great, it doesn't wear as well if you have destructive players. So if you push it really hard, it can crack and come off. We always had a repair kit in the background behind the scenes just so that we could touch things up. It gets damaged more easily. So our new process that I'm going to show you uses concrete. We're using Buddy Rhodes concrete mix, and I'll step you over back to Canada where I show you the rest of the process for making concrete fake walls. All of the rocks have been made and now it's time to put them up. We are putting concrete over this. If I wasn't doing concrete and doing something that's a little less thick like monster mud, I could have hit this with a heat gun to give more texture, but it's gonna be really thick. I'm not gonna need much except for the form. So now it's going up on the wall. I'm gonna use foam spray to adhere it. The small ones don't need anything else except for the foam. The bigger, thicker ones, I'm actually gonna have to screw them in around while the foam is drying, or else they're gonna fall right off the wall. So here we go. Well, I was wrong. I thought the small ones would stick. They do stick when you're doing it horizontally, but I guess even the small ones are gonna need screws. So I'm gonna grab a screw gun and be right back. One more spray foam tip, you should be wearing gloves. I know I showed me not wearing gloves, but this stuff is really bad if it gets on your fingers. It's gonna be sticky and then it's gonna dry and flake off your hands, so gloves are good, so wear those gloves. You can put the screws into the foam before you glue it on the wall. So if you don't have a helper, you can just hold it up and get your screwdriver and just screw it right in. I think I made the Hawaiian Island chain in back. Look. Not exactly, but it sure looks like it. And for these rocks, we are using Buddy Rohodes Vertical mix. I had read about it before, always wanted to try it, and I couldn't get it in Hawaii. So when we moved to Canada, I was super excited to try it out, and it is amazing. I can't say enough good things about it. It's an artisanal concrete made for vertical use. They'll use it for art projects, for things like escape rooms where you have walls that need to be lightweight with concrete, and it just works really great. So I'll show you how I put it up. Okay, so the concrete is the right consistency. So now it's time to put it on the wall, get some gloves on, and we'll start going. All right, so the thickness is up to it can go up to 4 inches, but usually you want like a little under an inch thickness. They recommend kind of coating it lightly first, then going for a second. I've already primed the whole wall with their spray that they use, and the mixing is just according to instructions. So this is the fun part. You kind of get to slam it on. And wearing glasses is helpful because it gets messy. Ground coverings are good too. And then once I stop, I'm going to let it dry for an hour or two, then I'll come back and carve it. So I'm getting closer. You might ask, why am I putting all this concrete on top of the foam if I bothered to carve the foam? So the foam is kind of a way to keep the wall nice and light so that you don't have 3 or 4 inches of concrete in depth. It's also a little cheaper than concrete and gives me a little more control about what I'm doing. see when you throw something up, it actually stays. See? It sticks vertically, which is really cool. Okay, so it's thickened up a bit, so it's not as mushy when I touch it. And now I get to use my secret tool, the rock glove. This came across as a happy accident. I was using these heavy-duty gloves to do concrete, and all the concrete was sticking to it. And it stuck, it stayed. And now I have all these little bits of concrete that have texture, so I use this to push into my concrete to make rock texture. You can use rocks, you can also buy pre-made texture sheets that you push in, but this works great, and I love that it was free. So I just gently push it, and as I gently push it, you can see that I start to get the texture. I'm looking for kind of like a lava rock texture. Since I'm from Hawaii, you can definitely, I've seen a lot of lava rocks, so I get the idea of the texture. And I keep moving my hand around to vary it so it doesn't look even or man-made. And once again, this is a theatrical escape room set, so it doesn't have to be perfect, perfectly realistic. People aren't here to play a game. They're not looking too closely at the rocks, so I want it to look good, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Whatever is not perfect, we can hide with leaves that we're going to put in and with lighting. So I'm going to keep pushing around, and then if some things are too much, I just go and lightly tap the wall, and I'll blend in the texture just a little bit more. We also don't want rough spots for players. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to show you a couple pictures as I talk about what it really looks like. We haven't added all the lighting yet, so that's where a lot of the magic happens. But the biggest difference that we're seeing with the concrete is it really holds up. You can easily go vertical, and there's a tactile difference between concrete and monster mud. When you touch it, it feels like rock. It really adds just an extra layer to the player experience. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.